So, welcome to the first online accessibility workshop, which is Canvas Accessibility Tips and Tricks. I'm screencasting this so that I'll be able to throw it up on the website, and I'll do my best to, any questions that come around, I'll do my best to repeat them so that they'll make sure to go on the recording. So the purpose of today is to talk about Canvas courses specifically and some tips and tricks that you can incorporate to ensure that your content is accessible for students with disabilities. Hopefully you've heard of the website, which is www.dvc.edu. Let me show you. www.dvc.edu/ oops, excuse me, move that out of the way. Move this up. /online accessibility. And this is our new web page that helps you as faculty and staff ensure that your content is accessible for students with disabilities. And you'll notice that Module 6 is Canvas Accessibility Resources. So that is really sort of a repository of external web pages, other schools that use Canvas and have for a while, and accessibility tips that they've compiled. But what I'm going to show you today is sort of my own sort of homegrown tips. But you can also refer back to this website. Okay, so let me go back here. Oops, got to go back to my Canvas course. So how many of you teach an online class? And it's a hybrid. Okay. And then we have one other person. And then the majority of you, or the rest of you rather, do you just use Canvas to supplement your face-to-face class? Okay, great. Right. Okay, wonderful. So posting grades and just supplemental information that students could be helpful, could find helpful. Thought I lost one of my screens there. Okay. So when we talk about accessibility with Canvas, one of the major types of disabilities that find or that encounter barriers with it are students with a visual impairment or who are blind, and then also those who are deaf or have a hearing impairment. So we're going to be mainly focusing on that today. I have created here in Canvas my top secret testing course, which you are all going to see today. So don't tell anybody. So within my top secret testing course, I have created pages. Now, how many of you use the pages feature? Okay. If you don't, it's okay. Pages is a way to generate content directly within Canvas in what's called the Rich Content Editor. And like, for example, if I were to go here and create a new page, you would see that I have a section for my title, and then underneath that, it almost looks like a word processor where you can insert things, and then you can type whatever you want. So for those of you, so what we're going to talk about today is really accessibility tips and tricks you can do within the Rich Content Editor. If you post Word documents, or like upload them rather, or PowerPoint presentations, you might have noticed on the website I just showed you, there are modules to teach you how to make your Word docs accessible and your PowerPoint and PDF. So next week, I'm doing a workshop on adding styles to your Word documents, so that might be a good one to do as well, or again, you can check it on the website after. Or I'm always happy to meet with you individually. I'm lucky to have a flexible schedule that I can kind of craft, so I can meet with you when is most convenient for you. Okay, that being said, the first thing that I'm going to talk about, and on your handout, this is kind of summarized. I can't not give paper to people. It's like kind of a problem. So I wanted you to have this paper. Yay! I still use a paper planner. I just can't do it. Okay, so the first thing I want to address is how to add alternate text to an image. So I'm going to click on this page. And so I have a fictional class here. Well, let's call it Advertising 101. All right. And what you want to do when you have an image that you have put into your to your course. You want to ensure that you have alternate text attached to that image. Alternate text is text that you cannot necessarily see. It won't appear on the screen, but when a student that uses a screen reader reads that, the alternate text will be voiced. So a screen reader is really a software program that virtually will just say whatever is on the screen, and the student can move around the screen using various keyboard combinations. So a student reading this with a screen reader, it would read adding alternate text to an image, advertising strategies, and then the sentence below that, and then once it hits the image, you and I can see what it is, but once it hits that image for the student, it will voice whatever description I have put into it. So for this one, I'm going to walk you through the process of adding alternate text to an image, and then if you want, you'll have an opportunity to practice that on your own. So has anyone added an image into a Canvas page before? Okay, so I'm going to go to Edit, and once I do that, you'll be able to edit the page, and to add an image you can just click Embed Image, and you can use Flickr to find Creative Commons images that don't have any copyright issues, or if you've saved an image or found one on the internet, you can enter the URL in. And then below that, you may notice it says Attributes, and there's a box that says Alt Text. This is where you would just describe what you're seeing. Now I'll show you what I have done for this one. So I'm going to click on her, and I'm going to go up to Image, and here I've written a 1964 Pepsi ad featuring a young blonde girl with a huge smile. Caption reads, "Come alive, you're in the Pepsi generation." Because I think the caption's important. I think what it says is important, especially if you're talking about advertising. Now, of course, I could probably say more. I could probably add what the rest of this text says. But as the instructor, what you really want to ensure is that whatever message you want conveyed by that image or that chart, do your best to recreate that in your alt text. I know that can be tricky because especially some charts are just hugely detailed. So if you're running into concerns about how to do that, please let me know. We have different strategies for how we handle that in DSS. We might break it down into smaller parts of the chart and then go that route, or there's a whole bunch of different things we can do. So once you have added your alt text, you simply just click Update, and it will be there. If there's time, I'd like to play for you what the screen reader sounds like when it reads it. It is a lot of what's seemingly extraneous words, but to the student using them, they make sense. Because again, it's orienting them to where they are on the page. But as you can see, it's very simple to add an alternate text to an image. And it's a similar process in Word, so we'll be talking about that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my pages. So the next thing, the next topic I wanted to talk about with you is, it's on the second page of your handout, adding styles to text. So I go to my page about that. So what are styles? Well, styles are a way of marking up your text so that it's obvious what type of text it is. Is it a heading, is it a heading 2, a heading 3, a heading 4? Think of it similarly to like an outline. You know how when we used to write our old outlines, we'd have like Roman numeral 1, animals, capital letter A, habitat. It's kind of, there's a hierarchy of information. And the same goes for this. So when a student is using a screen reader, if the content is not marked with headings or with styles, it really just reads as continuous text, one long line of text. Adding styles breaks it up for the student. It will alert them to say what is heading 2 and what is a heading 3. And a student who's a savvy screen reader user can tell the computer, I only want you to read me heading number 2, any heading 2s. And that way, you know how you and I, like when we look at something, I mean, this isn't super text heavy, but if you were looking at a page and it's all text, but then it's got some headers, you kind of scan the headers to be like, okay, I don't need to read that. I do need to read this. But for a student who's blind, they don't have the option of doing that unless you kind of provide that. So it is very important, and it's so easy to do in this. The title of the page in Canvas is always going to be a heading 1. So if I were to go here to edit, this title, and it makes you add a title, that is always heading 1. So beyond that, I would start with heading number 2. So maybe my subtitle would be heading number 2. Now if I had a subtitle beneath that, that would be heading 3, and it only goes up to 4, which I think is a good thing because you don't want to get too buried in the like outlininess of your document. Anything that isn't a heading, that's just regular text, you leave as paragraph. So if you come over here to the right, you can see there's a little menu here. All you have to do is select the text, like for example this. And what I'm doing right now, you can see it on the screen, I'm selecting that. And then you come to your drop-down menu and you select whatever it's going to be. Now this is header 2, so I just left, whoops, I just made it paragraph again. You can see how it instantly shrinks. So heading 2. And then when a screen reader reads that, it will say, heading level 2, your title would be heading 2. Heading level 3, subtitles would be heading 3. So before it reads that line, it will alert the listener of what type of heading it is. Any questions so far? No? Okay. Again, these are like super simple things you can do, and but they make a huge difference to somebody, I guarantee you. So if we go back to our pages here, the next topic I wanted to address is captioning a video made within Canvas. So allow me to go there. So Canvas has a recording feature that you can use. I have made a video of myself earlier today. It looks really bad. I'm not going to worry about that. Yes, we do all feel the same way. So if you go to this icon, it says record, upload media. It will access your webcam, and you can record it directly in there. Captioning it, I'll take you through that process. So let me go back here. So if you go to your video and you click on it.
Hi, welcome to...
My audio is horrible on my computer. I wasn't wearing this, as you can see. Ugh, it's just, anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. It's purely for demonstration purposes. But once you have the video embedded, if you come down to the bottom and click the CC button, very tiny, and then upload subtitles, what it's going to do is it's going to bring you to this screen, and you can copy the video URL with your mouse. It's a really long URL. And then if you already have a caption file, you can upload it, but I'm assuming that none of us have that we want to create one. So you can click Go to Subtitle Creation Tool. And Canvas has partnered with a service called Amara. Remember I mentioned, Catherine, Amara in our last workshop? So Amara is a free captioning service, and it's actually open source. And you might notice on the screen here at the top it says, here is the subtitle workspace for your video. You can share the video with friends or get an embed code for your site. So theoretically, if you have a student that I mean, you may consider offering extra credit if a student wants to caption your video for you, because you would just send this URL to them and they would be able to go in and caption it. Just a suggestion. But it's simple to do it yourself as well. So what you would want to do once you're here is click Add a New Language, and you select the video is in this case, English. Subtitle into English. Or maybe you have some students that speak Spanish in your class and you'd like to give a student extra credit to caption it into Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue and it's going to load the subtitle editor. So this is, you had mentioned, I'm sorry, I forgot your first name. Jim, you had mentioned you did subtitle or captioning on YouTube before. It's the same type of process by and large. So you play the video, you type what you hear, and then it will sync your subtitles for you. So I'm going to demonstrate this right now. I like the playback mode to be magical auto pause. That's what they call it, because it's magical. So I'll start typing. Well, I'll listen to it, I'll start typing, and it will pause. And then when I'm done typing, it will start up again. So let me see if I can get this to... I don't know if you'll be able to hear this very well, so...
Hi, welcome to
Oops.
my video.
Sorry. Oh. Hi, welcome to my video. Should be doing magic.
Demonstrate how to caption a video created within Canvas. So I just need to keep talking so that I have...
Created within Canvas.
So I just need to keep talking so that I have material to caption.
Okay. This is kind of going strangely. I'm sorry. Maybe I want to take it out of Magic Playback mode. I don't think so. That's a good question. Let me start this over. I don't think they have that on this. Right. Yeah, right. And this is shorter, but you can do that on YouTube. I'll have to check on this. I don't know. Upload subtitles, show tutorial. I don't think this one has the auto feature. But you don't have to really go this direction. You could always generate the video using what I'm using right now is Screencast-O-Matic, which is a free recording service. It's a website. You create an account and then you can upload that to YouTube and caption it within there. So, but this is just like if you want to stick to Canvas and use the tools directly within Canvas. This is the thing they use. So let me just do a few lines. Gosh, the audio is so bad.
Welcome to my video to demonstrate how to caption a video created within Canvas. So I just need to keep talking so that I have material to caption. If you're seeing this video,
okay, so I'm not doing a very good job. You want to limit it to like 42 characters per line if you can. And Amara kind of lets you know your line is super long, so you might want to cut it down a little bit. Once you're done though, you can click yes, start syncing, and it takes a little bit of time, but it will auto sync the lines of text that you typed with the point at which you were saying it in the video. And again, YouTube has the same feature. And what Jim was using is you have YouTube listen to you and try to guess what you're saying and then have it do the auto sync. You do, and he'll attest to this, you do have to go back and make sure it got you correct with Latin terms or various other things. But it can be faster than perhaps doing it this way. Uh-huh. Okay. Right, right. So just to repeat that, there is kind of sort of a time lag once you've created your video and you upload it. You'll have to then go back and before it'll allow you to do the auto caption. Uh-huh. It does that for you. Right, right. And it will, so as he was saying, it kind of breaks up the captioning so it's not too much text on the screen at one time, which is too much to absorb for most of us. Um, so again, you can definitely do it that way, and Screencast-O-Matic is a great service. You are limited to 15 minutes unless you pay for the Pro recorder. But have you done that, Jim? Have you bought? Oh, okay, that's smart. True. It does. Yes, yeah. So breaking it up is a good idea. And I did spring for the Pro version, which was I think $15 a year. So I know I had to think about it for a little bit. Um, so you have that option, but I like the idea of breaking it up into chunks. It gives you a break too, you know. Um, so captioning your videos, if you're strictly teaching online, you do need to have them captioned before you put them up. Um, DSS can do that for you as well, which I'm going to show the 3C Media thing that I had mentioned to you earlier. Um, but if it's a face-to-face course and you are putting up a video for review purposes, or maybe you did a lecture cast of your class that morning and now you want to put it up for anyone that might have been absent. If you have a student who DSS has notified you has a hearing impairment, then absolutely it must be captioned because they have to have the same access as any other student. If you don't have any such notification, it is okay to post that, but be prepared if you need to provide it in a captioned format that you are able to do that in case suddenly someone does need that in your class. Um, so just a little note about that. Let me show you another service, and it's called 3cmediasolutions.org. And so for some of us, you know, we have long lectures, and captioning them on our own is just incredibly time consuming. So the California Chancellor's Office has made a partnership with 3C Media Solutions for captioning money and a captioning service that you can get for free. So I'm just going to log in. I already created an account. And once you have an account, hopefully this is my correct password. Oh, good. Then you simply go to Media. Anytime. And then you can upload you can upload videos, and then if I click on a video, so I had already uploaded something last June. Below the video, see where it says submit this media for captioning. You can click on that, and then it says closed captioning normally takes 3 to 5 business days. And if you're able to plan ahead so that you'll know you have it back before posting it, that's great. If it's a short video, we've gotten them back within half a day. And these are humans doing it. This is not, you don't have to worry about YouTube machine captioning getting it wrong. These are actual people that are paid to do this. So it's a relatively quick turnaround depending on the length of the film. Or video, I should say. And it's just a simple form. You just go in and fill it out. They want to know your section number to verify that it is for a course. And then you just send it off, and they literally will send the video back to you with the captions already embedded, and you just post it wherever your heart desires. So excellent service, free. Did I mention that? And yeah, I think that's a really great service. Oh gosh, I gotta move off of this. Sorry, this is scaring me. DSS has other avenues that we employ to caption other vendors. So again, I think Jim had mentioned, well, you know, I don't want to take it to DSS because like if I do it, or what did you say? Like everyone's, I don't want to inundate us. Please, we want to be inundated because we're not inundated, and we probably should be. So, and the more requests we get, the more maybe support we're going to need. So please inundate us. It's better that than we run into some problems, right? So the captioning piece is not meant to be painful. So if it's painful for you, put it on us. One other thing I wanted to talk about is creating accessible tables. Does anyone here add tables into their Canvas courses? No, sometimes, maybe, someday. No, never. Yeah. So it's easy to create accessible tables in Canvas. And this is also on your handout. I think this is on the back. Yeah, it's on the back page. The way that you want to make a table accessible in Canvas is to just simply identify what is the header. Again, for us folks, you know, we can tell that in this chart, September, October are the two headers for the columns, and then widget, sprocket, and doohickey are the row headers. But again, you might not readily know that as a student who has a visual impairment, especially if someone's decided to get real funky with how they format their table. So it's very simple to identify which are the headers. If you go into your table, you can hold down your, well, this is how it is on my laptop. It's probably the same on yours. But if you hold down your control key, you can select certain cells. And I don't know if you can see there, September is now kind of wrapped in blue. And if you go up to the table menu and then cell properties, under cell type, you can use the drop-down menu to mark it as a header cell. And then under scope, you would want to select column because this is the column header. And what it does is it actually bolds it. So if this were not the column header, it would look just like the numbers. It would be non-bolded. So Canvas does that automatically. Same thing you would do for the rows. Select the cell, go into table, cell properties, and then instead of column in the scope, you would just simply select row. And when a screen reader reads this, it will alert the student to the fact that those are the headers. You can also add a caption if you go into table and then table properties. If you check this caption box, it basically just gives you a little area where you can type in a title. Not super necessary, but again, like because you might have put the title like above the table, but this kind of like weds it to the table a little bit. How many of you have ever had a student, or do you offer quizzes in Canvas? Jim, Catherine, one. Okay, so you might have a student in one of your courses who gets extra time. And that applies to quizzes or tests, not to assignments. But there is a way in Canvas to modify the time for that one student. So let me go back to... no. Let's see. Let me show you. So the question was, does that require creating an individual assignment? And what I'm going to do right now is show you on the web page. Come on. Huh. It's not letting me go down. That's interesting. Let me just refresh this. Ah. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, my scroll bar was not. It was very short. Okay. So if you go under Canvas Accessibility Resources, there's a link in here from Canvas, the folks that make Canvas. And it's a tutorial on how to grant extra time for a quiz. So I'm just going to click on this. It's very slow. And they're constantly updating their tutorials. I looked at the date for this one yesterday, and it had yesterday's date, so they had made a minor change to something. Okay, sorry, folks. It's probably my Wi-Fi. I should be plugged into a hard line. Okay, here we go. So once I publish a timed quiz, how can I give my students extra time? So let's see. Oh, it's not all loading. It's still loading, so I apologize. But this will take you through the whole process for how to select a student and then go into their particular profile and grant them extra time. And Canvas is great because it will tell you when you're doing that you have designated that all students get 30 minutes, because then sometimes a student will get time and a half, and DSS will let you know how much extra time the student gets, so then you would give them like an extra 15 minutes. So it's nice because you can do the calculation easily because it tells you how much time everybody gets. Okay, let's see. I'm not seeing it here. Okay, add extra time on current attempt. Got to scroll down a little bit. Okay, so let's see. It's just, I'm sorry, my page is not loading. So, yes. So the question is, can you also add audio captions to an online quiz? So are you delivering the quiz? Is it like an... Uh-huh. Right. So is the student, they need it read to them because they're blind, or? Mm-hmm. Okay. Perhaps. So, okay, so you've had students where DSS has recommended, and that was here, that they come to our office to have the test read to them. That is sometimes an accommodation that's offered. And you know, if your class is a face-to-face class, then that's certainly something. If the counselor deems it's appropriate for the student, we can certainly do. We have some assistive technology programs that are text-to-speech programs that will read aloud, and meant for sighted students, that will read aloud the quiz, so they can use that too. We facilitate that through our office. But if you have like a strictly online quiz, you know, a student has the option to use assistive tech with it as well if they need it read to them. I thought maybe if you had like a video quiz or something. Yes, it does. It'll read anything on the screen. Yeah. A screen reader would, but that's really for a blind student. Like if you're talking about a student who is not visually impaired, but they need reading support, then we have other technology. Okay. Right. Yeah, yeah. Sure. It kind of ebbs and flows. Right, right. So yeah, so DSS, you know, we strive to really be in communication with you about what the students' needs are, and facilitating whatever services we can, trying to take the burden off of you as the instructor. Um, so, um, but yeah, if you have any questions about specifics, you can always, I can be your main point person, and then I can channel it off to whoever might, if it's our testing coordinator or our note-taking coordinator, it doesn't matter. I can siphon it off to whoever is most appropriate. But those are good questions, and let's see, let me go back to my pages menu here. So I know we have one math person in here. I think the rest of you don't teach math. Catherine, when I was in your workshop, we talked about the equation editor, right? Okay. Oh, you have? Oh, good. So, obviously there's some other considerations for math and chemistry and things like that, but we'll address that another time. So those are really the basics, folks. If you look at the front part of the packet, those four things really are sort of those 4 bullet points really are sort of the main tenets of having an accessible Canvas course. And I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I would suggest if you're interested in doing this, you pick one thing like the styles and modify all your content to have styles, and then maybe pick something else and work on that. Don't feel as though you have to get this all done overnight. And then again, use us, because that's what we do. And we have this captioning grant for a reason. And we should use it because it's being offered to us. So yeah. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to pause my screen or stop my screencast. And you'll have an opportunity to practice, or if I know you're very busy, so if you want to go too, that's okay. But thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next time.